Associate head coach of the Auburn Tigers, Stephen Pearl, is with us from College Station, Texas, where Auburn will do battle tonight against Texas A&M. Welcome in, Coach. Congratulations on an SEC championship.
Appreciate it, fellas. How you guys doing?
Doing awesome. Thanks a lot. I mean, we were just talking, and I know you don't care about these things, but we were just talking about the fact, what was the number for Duke? How many?
25
Duke's,
plus.
Oh, wait, they've got 11 25 plus wins.
11 25
In
plus
conference.
point wins. You, Alabama, and Florida, who are three of the best teams in the conference, have two apiece. It just shows you the strength of this conference that you guys just won, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, just from everyone you talk to, just looking at the numbers, it may be the strongest conference in the history of college basketball, and to find a way to win it with a week to spare. It's obviously says a lot about our team, and like Coach said before the Kentucky game, our guys have gotten ready to play every single night, and that's a credit to them. And it's a reason why we were able to find a way to go 15-1 through the first 16 games, and take home our fifth championship in 8 years.
When you guys show up at Rupp on Saturday before the 16-point win, do you or BP, do y'all even reference the fact, hey, we haven't won here since 1988, or is it, hey, new team, new year, doesn't matter?
That was the first thing that Coach said in film, going into the scout, was just talking about our record in Rupp, which was 2 and something astronomical.
50.
And then, not having won since 1988. And I told the guys that I was a 1-year-old at that point, and they all were like, damn. They couldn't believe that it had been that long since Auburn had gone in there and won. And, BP hadn't won there since his first year at Tennessee. And, I think the guys took that as motivation to obviously, find a way to go in there and, have a gutsy performance. And we had a lot of step up from a lot of guys on our team to obviously get an incredibly special win, not only the first win since 1988, but to, clinch at that time a share of the SEC title.
You got to see Todd Pettiford play longer minutes in that game than he normally does. Did you learn anything more about him? I mean, he's been off the charts everywhere, but what more did you learn about his game watching him play longer in his role?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Tahad's been so incredibly unselfish in his role with this team. Like Coach said, he hasn't complained once about not starting. He hasn't complained once about his minutes. So for Tahad to be able to obviously play 30-plus, stay out of foul trouble, and continue to guard at a really high level against a really good offensive team was obviously really encouraging for us to see him to be able to do it over that stretch of time in a tough environment. So none of us were surprised, obviously, because Todd's obviously been so good on the road this year away from home, and has done it in a lot of really tough environments. But for him to do it in that game with those circumstances obviously gives us a ton of confidence moving forward, as we continue to get into March.
What if I had told you Janai Broome only scored 9? What would have been your thoughts going into that game?
I mean, obviously it's been next man up all year. Obviously, if you look at our team from the outside, you think Auburn loses that game.
Yep.
But, we got way more than just Janai on the roster. And you obviously saw that on Saturday with, Miles Kelly stepping up and banging 9 threes at Rupp, and, Chad Baker, going on some pretty impressive runs throughout the game. And obviously Tahad stepping up and making timely play after play after play. So, that's what our strength's been. It's been our depth all year. And when some guys don't have it, other guys are able to step up. And I thought Kentucky did a really good job of limiting Janai, and they were really physical with Janai, and they sent bodies to Janai. But it's pick your poison. You either let Janai go for 26 and 16, or you do a great job of limiting him, and then he does a great job of facilitating it to the other guys on our roster. And we can beat you in multiple ways, which I think is what's been the strength of this team, and it's something that we have to continue to try and do moving forward.
Hey, back to Miles Kelly and the 9 threes on Saturday. He said before the game, shoot around, he fell in love with the rims there at Rupp, but didn't use the rim on a couple of them, used the backboard. Did y'all give him a lot of shit for – I mean, I've seen one, but I've never seen the same player hit 2 in a game off the backboard and hit 9 overall.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you just got to let him keep rolling. And, it's when a guy's feeling it, if he had just banked 2 and that was it, maybe I'd give him a little shit, but he made 9. So, they can gripe all they want about 2 bank threes. We still kick their ass. So, Miles just obviously had it going and was feeling really good about his shot, and had great feel for, what we were doing in the game and the game plan. And we had a lot of really good sets to get him clean looks. But there was a couple obviously that were just out of the offense, and they backed up, and he knocks them down. So we've known that Miles is capable of doing that. You saw it in the first game against Vermont when he made 7. He's just such an incredible shooter, and once he sees one go in, you can see 5, 6, or 7 go in, and obviously, hopefully he can keep that rolling as we continue to go through these next couple weeks.
I used to cut class at Jack State to play pickup in Stevenson Gym, and there was this balding white guy, 6'1" maybe, and shot nothing but bank shots. That was everywhere he shot was a bank shot. And he was fun to have in your team.
Top of the key?
Everywhere. Everything was a bank shot. And, I mean, there was no more frustrating guy to lose to, Coach, than that guy right there.
Yeah. My dad used to say that's why they paint that square on the backboard.
That's right.
I didn't understand that. So tonight at College Station, and Texas A&M's actually, Auburn beat Texas A&M in the last meeting, but they've actually won 3 of the last 4 against the Tigers. What does Buzz Williams' teams do that challenge people? I know they're on a losing streak. They've lost 4 in a row, but obviously they've got a scheme and a plan that causes people problems. When you scout them, what's the problem with a Buzz Williams team?
Yeah, I mean, they've won 3 out of the last 4, but they've also beaten us 5 out of the last 7. So it's obviously been a game plan and an opponent that's given us some gripes, and we struggle with it. They switch everything 1 through 5, and they send everything to the baseline. They send bodies, and they do a great job of turning you over. So you aren't really able to run a lot of what you typically run against a normal defense. Luckily for us, we've played against Ole Miss a couple times, and Ole Miss guards similar to how Texas A&M does, but Texas A&M does it with just bigger and better athletes. They have bigger guards, and they got bigger guys up front that can obviously make plays, and it obviously can cause some frustration. So for us, we can't let them speed us up. We got to play off of 2 feet, and we got to make the easy pass. And we got to take what the defense gives us. And in the past, we haven't done a great job with that against these Buzz Williams teams. And they do. They're every single year they're the best offensive rebounding team in the country. By percentage, they're the worst 2-point shooting team in our league. They're the worst free throw shooting team in our league, and they're the second worst or third worst 3-point shooting team in our league. But they still have a top 50 offense in the country because they're the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the country. So, their philosophy is get a shot up and then go get it. And the closer they get to the basket, the better their percentages are of getting those offensive rebounds. So we have to do a great job of, making them take contested shots, but then we got to put 5 guys on bodies and get rebounds and try and limit their second chance opportunities.
So Buzz has always had the prohibition gangster look. Have you ever worn the vest with the suit?
No, I can't pull that off. That's not me.
Well, that's his look, and he has stuck with it, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he sweats right through that thing, too. That guy is so active in game, man. He gets after it.
That's why BP stopped wearing suits, because he was sweating through suits just like Buzz was. You can cover it up when you're wearing a polo or a pullover. So I know they were just down in Gainesville, and that's where the infamous BP sweat through his suit game. So I'm sure Buzz was that dry cleaning bill is probably no joke down here in Aggieland.
Hey, so back to Saturday, you guys obviously win in Rupp, but you're in transit when Tennessee hits the walk-off. You guys didn't want to share an SEC championship. We saw the reaction from Janai and some of the guys. How loud was it on that bus?
Well, we weren't on the bus. So that was just the team transit from the airport back to campus, and the rest of us had our cars. So we were all individually driving back, probably not so wise and not so safe. We were probably all on our phones watching the game as well. So I was driving through an intersection as Meshack made the 3. And, luckily I didn't scream too loud, but it was obviously it was an incredible shot. And, the funny part is Coach Barnes is over there screaming for a timeout the entire time. Luckily, the referee didn't see him, and, they were able to hit a huge shot. And, but, obviously it made things a little bit easier on us. But, obviously our guys did an unbelievable job of taking care of their business earlier in the day and winning in a really difficult environment in Rupp Arena.
I don't know if you've heard him, but he says, and this is not uncommon, I know BP, you all would do the same thing, that he always tells the ref in that situation, I'm going to call timeout. And he just forgot to do it in the heat of the game. Yep. Everything was moved so quick. He just forgot to do it. He said 99 times out of 100, I'm telling that ref I need a timeout here, and forgot. And that's the one thing that saved him.
Yeah, no doubt. And that, because those guys are obviously in that situation, those officials are concentrating on a million other things, and they're not paying attention to what the coach is doing. So if they don't have any recognition ahead of time that the coach wants to call a timeout, it's so loud in there that they're obviously blocking all that out. And, lucky for them, obviously he didn't say anything to the official, and they were obviously able to hit a tremendous shot. And obviously we benefited a little bit from it going in.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time explaining to people that timeouts are awarded; they're not called. The referee awards you a timeout. You can't call a timeout. You signal it; he awards you the timeout. Before you go,
Yep.
I just wanted to make a point. You guys are always. I don't need to pep you up. You don't need a tape from me. But Bruce has been talking about history all season long. If you win tonight, it's the most SEC wins in program history. If you win tonight, it's the most regular season wins in SEC history. Is that still a talking point with you guys about just checking more boxes?
Yeah, I mean, we have a tremendous amount to play for still. Obviously, we're still, for some reason, we're still fighting for the number 1 overall seed. I don't understand that, but we are. So we obviously still have a lot to play for. We got to win another game, to obviously break the quad 1 record, or tie the quad 1 record, I think, at this point. So that's one thing. I think one more win secures the number one overall seed. So we're playing for that. There's only been a handful of teams that have ever gone undefeated in road games in SEC play. We're playing for that. And then, like you said, trying to get the most conference wins in Auburn history and the most regular season wins in Auburn history. So there's still a ton to play for at this point. And, we've been trying to hone that in with our guys and let them know that we still got a lot to play for and there's still a lot on the line.
With all due respect, who's giving you your bracketology news? Kirby Smart? I mean, you think you're still battling for the number 1 overall seed? There is such a gap between you and Duke. Come on, man.
I agree, but just looking at all the different bracketologists on Twitter, like they all seem to think that we're 1 or 2 wins away from obviously locking this thing up. If you look at the numbers, I really don't think that there's much of a discussion there. But I think we just got to keep our guys locked in, and there's still a lot to play for. Because at this point, guys, like it's all about playing your best basketball, and you can't just lay down the next 2 games because you've won the SEC, or even if we did have it locked up. You got to continue to play good basketball because we got to find our way to play our best as we are moving through these next couple of weeks, getting towards the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. So there's still a lot on the line and a lot to play for and a lot to get better for.
All right, he is Auburn Associate Head Coach Stephen Pearl. They play tonight in College Station against Texas A&M after fake golf, the TGL. You guys are right after the TGL. Coach, thank you very much for the time. Good luck tonight. Always good talking to you.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, take care. That is Stephen Pearl with us on the Shannara Hotline. He joins us every single week, this time from the road in College Station.